Boom! What's going on, people? So here we go with another live stream. I wanted to come back and actually get those two channels set up that we had talked about on the last live stream, if you caught that. Um, and I at least went and got those set up, right? So now I'll post those in the Slack channel and I'll post them in the chat here as well. I saw a feature on YouTube where the chat replays. So you can view the chat as it was streamed, or the chat as it occurred as the video was streamed. So I saw that. I don't know if that's something special that you have to turn on, or if that just works by default. It would be wonderful if it just worked by default, because then when I type in the URLs for the new pages, you'll just be able to watch this on the replay, and it'll be a done deal. What is going on, Mr. Ramsey? See you in the building. Let me post these channels. Well, first, let me test them out and make sure that these are the right things. Okay. So this will take you to channel number 1, Black Knight Vehicles. Let me post that in the chat. Black Knight Vehicles, right? Boom. So we'll post that in the chat. And then we'll do the next one was this guy. So this should take you to Black Knight Financial, I think is what I called it. Yep. We'll post that in. Boom. There you go. So the links for the two new channels that we created, that we talked about, are now posted in the Slack room. I will check and see if there's any, if you have to turn on that chat replay function or not. I might have to YouTube how to YouTube and get that figured out. So Mr. Ramsey said he's got them. Optional features. I don't see anything where you're supposed to turn that on, so I'm just going to assume that it will chat replay. So those are the biggest things. That's what I wanted to post up on there. I've got stuff going on in both of those arenas, both in the vehicle arena and in the financial arena, that I'd like to discuss. And those discussions will be happening on those channels. So I think there I will post the live stream. When I do a live stream there, I will leave it posted up. Is the way that's going to work. On this channel, as soon as I stop streaming, those videos become unlisted. So you can't get to those unless you have the link to those. But on those respective channels, I will leave the live streams up. So when we talk about cars on the car channel, it'll be all car talk. And those streams will be up. When we talk about finances on the financial channel, then those streams will be left up as well. And then on here will be strictly coding. So in the coding arena for today, what's been going on is I've been getting up to speed on JavaScript generators, right? So I'm in the Node world now, out of Angular, where I've been at for like the last 2 years. And in the node world, generators are a thing. You don't really use generators um, in Angular. And I think that's because I wonder if TypeScript does not support them. Let's see. TypeScript generator support. Let's see if that's there. TypeScript, hey, there we go. So it must have got added at some point. Adds full support for generators and iterator protocol. Huh. Let's see where that's coming from. And iterators and generators in TypeScript, right? Um, no, that's a symbol iterator. I'm talking about generators. Uh, uh, with the yield keyword, I don't see that. Hmm. Hmm. Well, Burkay's in the building. Hey, what's going on? I see you, Mr. Burkay, along with Mr. Ramsey. So I was taking a look to see why you don't really see generators being used in Angular. I thought maybe it was a TypeScript support issue, uh, but this says TypeScript 2.3, which has generators. Here we go. This is generators right here. Function with the little star after it. The star denotes a generator or generator function. And then you can use the yield keyword within that function. I'm sorry. Um, but I am not at the point of teaching or educating on this now because I'm just learning it myself, as I have not had to use generators. But some of our existing code in one of the projects I'm working on uses generators, so I have to get up to speed on that. So I've been watching. Usually, one of the first places I go to is YouTube. So I typed in JavaScript yield because I was looking at some code and it had the yield keyword in there, and I'm like, I'm not 100% sure on how that works. So I typed in JavaScript yield, and here's the first 4 or 5 things that came up, and they all said generators. I said, yield must be tied to generators. So then we came over here. I really like this guy, Fun Function. Um, I really like how he breaks down stuff and explains stuff. So I opened up a whole bunch of those, but I went to his video and started um, watching his video and his explanation and breakdown on iterators, not iterators, generators is really good. I must have hit a max with, I don't know what's going on because I'll go to pages that I know I'm subscribed to and I will be unsubscribed. And I'll subscribe again. I'll come back in a bit and it'll be unsubscribed. I wonder if YouTube has a max subscriber. YouTube maximum subscribers. Does it have a maximum? No, I'm not talking about who has the most subscribers. Maximum limit to the number of YouTube channels. I think this might be it. Let's see how old that is. Ramsey says, nope, just YouTube being YouTube. Is that the case? Too many subscriptions because there's a subscription limit. How old is this though? This might be some old news. This is from 2016, August, year and a half ago. You can subscribe to a maximum of 2,000 channels. Boom. Unless you have a lot of subscribers yourself, in which case the limit grows as you do. Um, is that really true? We'll clarify the error wording. Um, Made this change primarily to fight sub for sub spam. We want to make sure people are using the subscription system in the way intended. Subscribe to channels and people that have videos you're interested in watching. The exact limits and how we limit things might change over time as we learn how it's working. But I've never seen the error message that says too many subscriptions at all. Um, hmm. So we'll see. Verte said things are going great. How about me? Things are going good, man. Um, I'm just in that eating that humble pie because jumping into the node world is taking me back, like learning about these generator things. Is or the generator concept is something that is new to me. So it's like being a beginner again, which is cool. I really like that. I like that feeling, and having to start from ground zero on a concept you're unfamiliar with, and having to build up and learn uh, in that way. So that's the deal there. Uh, oh, I talked to my buddy. Remember, I was talking about getting my buddy a job, right? So I talked to my buddy, and last week, and oh, sweet, that did not open on the main page. That's a good thing. Um, about getting him a gig, and yeah, he said he's definitely down. So he sent me his resume right away and everything, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. So we're gonna be working on that. We can fix that. Sorry, reading something work related. So that's the deal there. Pass his name on to our HR, head of HR/recruitment, and you know, she'll take care of it from there. So I told him to let me know when they reach out, and hopefully we can get him in with our company where he's working fully remote, making more money than he was making because that was his first job as a junior. You know, um, again, junior's just a word and a title. Uh, yes, he came in to his first development job, but he was a go-getter, man. He was busting his butt, and I was really impressed with how quickly he picked up stuff. You know, so um, I feel confident referring him to work at the company I work with. Now there was other people that came in first gig as well, junior. Not even first gig, second gig, still junior though, and they did not pick up things as quickly as this young man did. Fine young gentleman, and so I don't feel confident recommending them. You know, and that just goes to show that junior is just a term and a word. It's really how inept you are at picking up new concepts, um, knowing how you learn and maximizing how you learn, and how much hustle you have in doing something like that. So, so that's the case because there were people that he was more junior than, but he actually, um, progressed far faster than those people, even though he was more junior than them. And now it's at the point where he has someone willing to stick their neck out to recommend him to work somewhere over people that had more um, time in, I wanted to say more experience, but more experience doesn't necessarily equate to being a better developer, but they had more time in the field than he had. Um, and he still got recommended over those people because of how he worked and how hard his hustle was, and just how quickly he picked up um, new concepts. So, It just goes to show and give some encouragement that, when you get that first gig, um, you ain't got to feel like you got to work that gig for 2, 3, 4 years before you can move on or be considered not a junior, you know. Because once he comes here, uh, they don't necessarily hire junior developers here. So he will probably get a title of senior dev, you know, and he's been in the business for a year and he's a senior dev. It's just a title. Um, so that's kind of how that works. When I got the first title, senior dev, I definitely did not feel I deserved the title of senior developer, but that's just the way the titles fail. And, it is what it is. And then once you got that title, you kind of keep it. So that's the deal there. Uh, our top 10 software development. Oh, that's an ad for Toptool. 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 That's cool because recruiters are a pain unless they hire me. Then they are amazing. Of course. That's the way it always works, man. That's the way it always works. Let me see what the job of the day is. Let's go into my emails and see if we can't find where's the job offers. Here we go. Let's look at job offers that's coming in today. Anything from today? Here's one from today from our lovely recruiter with a Indian sounding or looking name. Technical recruiter looking for a UI lead in San Francisco, California. 12 plus months contract, citizen green card only. You got to know agile, uh, hands-on experience with front end, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Node, and React and Angular. Understanding software principles, design patterns, object-oriented programming frameworks, technologies. Capability to move quickly between strategic and tactical, understanding context. They're just throwing a bunch of words out there. Strong communication skills, oral verbal listening, as well as ability to influence key decision makers and understand their points of view. Boom. There's his email there. There's a phone number there. If you feel like you want to go for that, have at it. I'm definitely not calling back. I don't consider jobs that are not remote. We don't consider jobs that are not remote. Oh, that shows I haven't updated my angel list. They're giving me a congratulations on 2-year anniversary at a company I no longer work at. So they have some old info in there. Just touching base. I don't know if I want to put that job out there. Front end dev. Here's one in Chicago. Front end dev, Chicago, 6-month contract, I guess. Phone and face-to-face interview is what they want. Need 3 Oh, okay. I don't know what that's for or why that's important to highlight. Like anybody should be able to give 3 references. Front end developer, 5 years experience. Experience in JavaScript, HTML5, React, uh, and Redux. There you go. If you want to move to Chicago, there's his name, phone number, email. That recruiter there. Feel free, feel free. I am not moving to Chicago. Anywhere there's Scottsdale, Arizona, Pittsburgh. Pick your poison, pick your poison. Scottsdale's looking for an Angular developer. Angular with Java J2 EE skill sets. TCS, that's a big, this is the place that had hired me, but they took like 3 weeks on the background check or whatever, and I ended up accepting another position before they ever got back to me. It was for a position in Charlotte, North Carolina, for doing a contract for Bank of America. But they took like forever, man, on this thing. So TCS is the client. Looks like they're working for Nationwide Insurance, or TCS is the consultancy, Tata Consultancy Services, and their client is Nationwide Insurance. So they've secured a contract with Nationwide to build them some software, and they're looking for developers to join on to their team to help them build software to complete the contract for Nationwide Insurance. So that is how that works. So you join on, which is why it is probably contract. Oh no, this is full time. They want W-2. All right. They want you to become an employee. Uh, this stuff I'm not a fan of. Java, Oracle, SQL. I don't know how much of the back-end database stuff you need to be into. Working with architects, tech leads, reviews, certifies code of others, PRs, that's standard. Develops programming guidelines, that's standard. Drives technical application infrastructure. This seems like more of an architect or a lead, but it just says developer. Okay. They need 2 or 3 in Columbus, Ohio, and 1 in Scottsdale. So there you go if you want those. Let's see. Ramsey, as a W-2 employee, are you able to exit a contract whenever? No. If you're a W-2 employee, you are at the whims of your employer. So you work on what they tell you to work on. You know, I'm working on projects now and I can't just quit. Or, well, I could quit the company, and not have to work on the contract anymore. But if they need me, if this contract ends and they want me to work on a different contract, I go work on a different contract. There is some amount of say and leeway in there just because they are a good employer. Um, but they don't have to be. And if they say, hey, you're going to do this, I got a decision to make. Either I'm going to do it or I'm going to quit the company. It's not like being 1099 independent contractor where you have more say in calling the shots. But even then, when you're 1099, you still are kind of at the whim of your client to a point, you know. But you can always quit the contract. I'm sure there'll be some type of stipulations in there. Oh, dinner question: spaghetti tacos or eat out? Spaghetti tacos or eat out? Uh, I don't know what I would want with that. I'm cool with any of it, actually. So, Ramsey says, eat out and get tacos. No, I actually just had Taco Bell yesterday, so I kind of don't want tacos today. Uh, so I told her either spaghetti or eat out. I don't know where the eat out would be, but speaking of remote, I have a phone interview for a spot tomorrow. 2 jobs here, and I come. I hope at least. What do you mean to say everything in 2 jobs? Oh, 2 jobs here. I come. I hope at least. Oh man, say what? You doing a two-job thing, Ramsey? Uh, be careful there. The two-job thing really got me last week, man. Like I was super like frustrated for the first time in a very long time, and it had to do with one of the two jobs I was working with, or working for, or working on, or whatever. Um, but it totally like jacked up 2 or 3 days in my week, my mood, for 2 or 3 days last week, where I was just like, bump this stuff. You know what I mean? But I tell you what, it motivated me to get on top of that Amazon stuff. Boy, I was emailing them manufacturers so quick. Let's get this product into the warehouse so we can throw up the deuces to one of them two. You dig? I love the money. You know me, I likes the dollars. But uh but I don't like headache. And the money of the two jobs is amazing. But if one or both, either of them starts to give you a headache or static, it can really like put a damper on your whole life. You know what you don't want to do, and what we've been very careful about here. When you start making two income money, do not increase your lifestyle to match that two income money. It is a classic, a classic mistake, a classic, a classic mistake to increase your lifestyle to match the amount of money that you are making. Do not do that, because then you become slave to both of those jobs. You do not want to be in that position. You do not want to be in that position. But it happens not only, people that pull two jobs or anything, from anyone who uh, uh, um, from anyone who drastically increases their amount of income. And that can be from going from a low paying job to a higher paying job. I was watching a video today about truck drivers, and it was from a gentleman who was not a truck driver. He got his truck driver's license, and 6 days after getting his truck driver license, he went up to uh, Canada to drive in the oil fields, right? Oil fields of Canada. And he started making like $10,000. What was he making? 10,000 a month, I think. Um, $10,000 a month, and he talked about it. He said he was 20 years older than most of the guys up there, and he said, I was smart. I went up there, worked for, I forgot. He worked up there for a couple of years, 2 years, maybe 2 or 3 years. He said I went up there and I came back in the same pickup truck that I went up there in. And he said he watched so many of the younger guys start getting that 10 grand. He said you're putting 5,000 in the bank every 2 weeks, and they start looking at you know these big 70, 80, $100,000 pickup trucks. You're in an oil field, and you got to have a big old jacked up pickup truck, right? Uh, so they get these $100,000 pickup trucks, and dump a bunch of money into it, and then you're looking at your other buddies around, and go get RVs and campers, and he called them sleds, but I think he meant what do you call them? What's the things that go on the snow like a motorcycle? Uh, I want to say jet ski, and not a jet ski. It's like a jet ski, but it goes on the snow. You know what I'm saying, right? They go out and buy all these toys, right? And now they got all this debt and these big monthly payments, and they have now become slave. The only way they could afford to keep paying those snowmobile. Thank you very much, Ramsey. That's what I was looking for. Um, they become slaves to the oil field because now the only way that they can afford to pay for all of that stuff is by staying in the oil fields, um, driving those trucks. Problem is, oil goes through cycles, right? Oil is booming and hot at sometimes, and then oil crashes and it's a bust. Anybody that lives close to any oil field towns can attest for that. When oil prices are high, the town fills up with people coming from all over the country for the oil field jobs because they pay very well. And then when the price of oil crashes, those towns empty out because there's no more work uh, for the vast majority of the people there, especially when you get into the lower end of the workforce because those are expendable people. The roughnecks that work on the rigs, the truck drivers, all those people that are, you know, lower skilled people are seen as replaceable. So as soon as the dollars drop, they cut all those people, fire or lay them off, whatever you want to call them. But they are out of work. Only the higher up management and executives keep their jobs and wait for the next oil boom, or they move to somewhere else where oil is hot at. So they get screwed. He said, sure enough, when as soon as there's a bust, uh, come summertime, all that stuff is sitting out in the front yard for sale. Snowmobile, RV, big jacked up pickup truck. He said, I didn't spend any of my money on any of that stuff. And, I watched all my buddies get it, and I watched them all lose it. So um, that is my piece of advice, Mr. Ramsey. If you're going to do the two job thing, please don't um, increase your lifestyle uh, to match that added income. Because then, if any of them start giving you static, boom, you hit them with the deuces. Gotta go. Can you hold this for me? I gotta go because I got money stacked up in the bank and I don't need your static, mister. So, anyway. Oh, man. Question, been working on my first, this is from Mr. Burke. Working on my first web dev part-time on-campus job. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You were the one that got the campus gig, right? Doing WordPress stuff. Last 10 weeks, and my contract will be over in 6 weeks. Okay, 16-week contract. Some other company found me on LinkedIn, and I talked to them on the phone later on. They wanted to have me for an interview soon for a full-time position for the summer. All right. Project manager at my current company also asked me on Slack what I would do in the summer. How should I go about things if both companies offer me the job? Should I negotiate anything as a noob? Junior guy. Of course you should. Of course you should. I always negotiate. You have a skill that is wanted and or needed. Therefore, you put yourself in the best situation for you that you possibly can. And that will most likely involve some form of negotiation. So you evaluate both of the opportunities that you have and you make the right decision from that point on. So I would definitely talk to the other people that reached out to you on LinkedIn uh, for the full time summer gig, right? Because you never know what that could turn into. And then I would let your current employer know that you are looking at this other position for a summer gig and they have made you an offer, usually you have a little bit of time after you interview and get the gig, and they make you an offer. They'll give you a little bit of time to think about it, and during that time, you can go to your current employer and let them know that I was looking at working at this other place. Uh, they made me an offer around this amount or at this amount, if you want to tell them exactly. Uh, and then I just say, what did you have in mind? And I just pause. And then that puts all the honest on them. They know what your plans are. They know what amount of money you're making at the other place, you know, and that can or cannot be the actual amount of money they offered you at the other place. Just saying, just saying. I don't condone lying, but I do like a good negotiation. Uh, and then you wait and see what he says. And then you can evaluate. The good thing about the current employer is you already know about the job, about the people that work there, what the conditions are, if you enjoy working under those conditions and with those people. All of that stuff is already out of the way. So you know whether or not you want to continue working there. If you do, and they come with an offer that makes your eyebrows go up, then you know you can take that and keep it trucking. If they don't, you can throw up those deuces and go talk to those other folks. You know, there's other factors that are in there as well. You know, uh, work environment. Different people care about different things. Work environment. Who are the people I'm going to be working with? What is the company culture? What type of time commitment is expected of you? If you're going to a startup, you got to know that they're probably going to want to work the dog boo boo out of you. Uh, that's my attempt to be politically correct. In case Kiana is watching with the little ones. Um, so, just saying, uh, take all the factors and things that are important to you, and as well, what technologies is it that they are looking for? You might want an opportunity to work on a certain set of technology, and maybe the other place has uh, that kind of technology, and your current place doesn't. So that could weigh into the decision as well. So that it's never a cut and dry thing, but you got to weigh in, all of the factors and see what works best for you. You know, hmm, what I mean is another offer pops up from another company, comes halfway through. Another offer pops up from another company, comes halfway through a contract. Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're halfway through a contract and you get an offer from another company. Um, I got you. We haven't even touched WordPress yet. Oh, it's all about design as we are waiting a long time for the client to provide content to you. So your team couldn't even go to the job uh, for a few weeks. Got you. Sounds interesting. You're always very welcome for any word of advice that I may give. The other job's 45 minutes away with the bus versus the current job 1 minute away. That is always a factor, but my current job is not not necessarily a real job, but this other company will be a real job, so I'm excited. Hope they both offer something. I can understand that. I understand what you're saying. So you haven't even gotten your hands into WordPress at your current place, but you know you'll actually be doing things at the second place. Then yeah, I'd probably go with that where you're actually doing things because you want to build up your value as a developer, and you build up your value by actually doing things. Have you heard of Thinkful Boot Camp? I have not heard of Thinkful Boot Camp. Nefinium, welcome to the stream, by the way. I don't know if you've been a part of any of the streams before. Become a developer. Thinkful full stack program. Thinkful.com. Let's see. We work harder one-on-one learning to accelerate your way to a new high growth tech career. Thinkful graduate, software developer, simpler. Yana Stanley. Okay. So these are some of their graduates. All right, all right. What's the courses? Engineering immersion, full stack flex, data scientist front end basics. What is full stack flex? That's not talking about flex the technology, is it? Oh, flexible. Okay, cool. Just making sure they weren't teaching flex. I was like, oh, that's a little outdated if they're teaching flex. Part time, fully committed. Unlike a traditional boot camp, you don't have to quit your job. We get your job in tech guaranteed 20 to 30 hours a week. Means you can get ready for a new job without having to quit your current job. Graduate in 6 months. Flexible boot camp style program means you set your own schedule, fit your life. No matter how you choose to pay, you'll still get a job or your money back. Guaranteed. One-on-one mentorship, you get a support team, career services, day in the life, on your own time. Boom, boom, boom. So this must be like remote style. One-on-one mentorship. You bring the ambition, we'll bring the support. 40 hours Q&A sessions. 2 dedicated personal mentor sessions a week. So no doubt you'll be working in the right direction. So this must be do it at home type thing, huh? Cost and financing. Skills fund loan, interest only, $70 a month for the first 8 months, or 290 with 36 months. Skills fund loan, immediate repayment for budgets of $500 a month for 17 months. Month to month, $1,500 a month or upfront payment. So 8,500. So 85 to probably what, 10 grand? What's 17 times 500? Right? Boom. 17 times 500. So 8,500. That's crazy. So this is actually cheaper than doing the upfront payment. Usually they make the upfront payment cheaper. I mean, it's only cheaper by $50, but uh, 500 for 17 months is actually only 8,500 instead of 8,550. Hmm. Total cost 9,000. Oh, how do you get 11,000 out of? Oh, requires refundable deposit due on start date. Okay, that's where the difference comes in. So you got to put down 2,500 and then $500 a month after that, or you can just kick them out. Uh, you can just kick them out 8,550 and be done with it. Love your first week or your money back. So you gotta say I don't like it within the first week, otherwise you don't get your money back. That's cool. I would really make sure um, that it's something you want to do. You know, uh, they're only in certain cities. I didn't even look at what the locations were. Right? How we work. Sure, this was explain everything. Career Accelerator. 6 months. Do they? I don't know. So I don't see anything about locations. The team. Huh, okay. Sounds cool, man. I mean, I'm not I'm not one that's against boot camp, so I'm all for it as long as you're sure it's something that you want to do because it is a nice chunk of change, you know. It's a nice chunk of change, but you get the trade-off. Whereas I did everything online, you know, using primarily Team Treehouse, um, with Plural Site and Code School and stuff sprinkled in between. Uh, but I had to do it all on my own. Now the total cost to me was probably less than $1,000, um, but it took me longer. You know, it's probably 10 months. No, it was longer. It was probably like a year after I started getting serious about it that um, before I got a gig. You know, this is saying it's only 6 months. Well, 6 months to finish the school. I don't think they make a guarantee on um, how long to get a job. Uh, but you get the. That's why I was trying to figure out if it's. Here we go. Preferred experience. Demonstrated engagement with tech communities and events, particularly in the following cities. So I take it these are probably some of the cities that they have a physical presence in: Atlanta, LA, Phoenix, Portland, San Diego, Washington, D.C. Cool. Uh, and you said that Atlanta, D.C., New York, and one other one. So those are definitely the case. Immersion program, you only pay after they get you a job at 15% of your income for 3 years. I don't trust colleges either. I'm in the preliminary course to see if I qualify, only in certain cities. Okay, well, that 15% of income, that sounds different from what we were just looking at as far as what the cost is. That's a whole different matter. 15% of income for first 3 years. Because that would have ended up being quite a chunk of money for them if that would have been me. Uh, because I progressed and pay so quickly, you know. But I felt like I did all of that myself, you know. I went from 55 to 70 to 110 to, or 115 technically with the bonus, to 125. And then I picked up the second gig, and like I don't know if the second gig would have counted. You know what I'm saying? Mm, like I don't know how that goes. Would they be getting 15% of both gigs? You know? Because then we talking about a lot of money. I might end up paying 50,000, 60,000 for that over 3 years. You know, at 15% of my income for 3 years, I might have paid 50, 60,000 for that school. But if you take the, that's just me. That's me. I push to the max. I push things to the max, and I do the most that I can do, right? But if you take a more traditional route where you get a junior dev job and you're making 60,000, and you stay at that junior dev job for a year or two, what's 10% of 60 is, or 15% would be what, 9,000 of six for 60 grand. So it would be 9,000 a year. Say you work that for 2 years, it's 18 grand. Then your third year, you move on to something else. making more, right? So it might cost you. Let's see. I I think until it pays up to 14,000. Okay, okay, okay. That's a key. You got to put that out there. That's a key. That's a key thing. That it has a cap to it. You know, because if it doesn't have a cap, they can end up making a whole lot of money, depending on who the person is. So, but at the same time, I get it because they're sticking their neck out there and taking a risk. They're basically saying if we can't get you employment, we don't get paid. You know what I'm saying? And it's in their best interest to get you a high paying employment opportunity because they get their money back quicker um, than getting you some lower payment thing. Ace says, finally caught one. I know, man, but we have 50 minutes in, and I promised myself I'm going to end this at an hour. Uh, no more long stream. So, uh, Ace says, I added your finance channel. Okay, cool, cool, cool. That's what's up. That's why I did this. I did the finance and the vehicle channel. Posted them at the very top of the chat. I will post them again right before the end of the stream in about 9 minutes or so, and you will be able to subscribe to those channels, be part of the notification game, click the bell because they will be. It says not a vehicle guy. Sorry, that's okay, man. You ain't got to be a vehicle guy. Vehicles are one of my hobbies. Um, So I put it out there, I don't expect to grow any type of big vehicle channel in any way, shape, or form. I'm more putting it out there because for the car that I have, there is not a ton of videos out there of people doing DIY things to them, you know. So I figure that as I change things on them, i.e., these clear side marker lights that I just got, uh, in the mail today, and I had some other uh, lights, the ones that go in the door. So when you open the door, it shines and shows the Mercedes word and the symbol. I've already installed those today, and I did not record it, by the way, and I should have. Bad on me. Bad, 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 Brian. Uh, but for these, it require a lot more work because you have to pull off the front um, tire liner, take the tire off, pull off the inner liner, wheel well liner, to get access to these marker lights because these come yellow or orange from the factory, right? So you got this clean car and then it's got this big orange side marker, which is an American only thing, right? It's part of the American DOT requirements. So the cars that are in Germany and Europe and all those places or China or whatever, same model, don't have this at all on them. But when they come to the US, they have to punch a hole in the bumper and stick this on the side of it because it's a requirement that all US cars have a side marker light. In case you never noticed that, go look at any car that you see and you'll notice on the side of them they have an orange side marker light. Um, so I like the clear look much better. It's much cleaner. So I'm going to change those out. But I'm going to record things like that and post them up on YouTube so that people that have the same chassis model that I have will be able to find those videos and have another example of, how to do small things to it. I'm not going to go too crazy just yet because I did purchase an extended warranty for it. So I'm not going to be ripping engine stuff out, even though I am very amped to do so. I've done a lot of research into the things that you can do to that car, and they are plentiful, but not cheap. So you can supercharge it and all kinds of stuff. You can get it up to uh, way past 700 horsepower at the wheel, not at the crank, at the wheel, real horsepower with the supercharger kit, exhaust, uh, tune, but you do have to rip the engine out and do forged internals and all that stuff on it. But anyway, that's me and my car stuff. I can geek out on car stuff all the time, which is hence why I created a Black Knight Vehicles channel, so I can geek out amongst people that like to geek out about cars. Um, so that's cool. This channel is definitely getting much more back to code. As you've noticed today, we've talked almost exclusively about code and not really about finances or vehicles, except for that last little 60 seconds. Uh, and that is how I would like it to be, definitely. Um, as I was saying at the beginning of the stream, there'll probably be live streams going on. Well, live streams on the finance channel, pre-recorded videos on the vehicles channel, um, until if enough of an audience builds up there, then I'll do live streams there too. But that's probably how it's going to start out there. Difference being that the live streams on the finance channel are going to stay up. So we're going to talk exclusively about finances and credit cards and business credit and all that types of stuff, right? And it's just going to be things that I have personal experience with. Uh, so I'm having a text conversation with my lady as far as the food as well. But that's it. Ramsey says, I don't trust boot camps. I barely trust college, but that's just my opinion. I know what you mean, Ramsey, but uh, uh, like we talked about, they can be cool and good as well. I would definitely do a boot camp before I did college. I would say that for me. So I'd say that is the caveat being there if you wanted to get to work right away. You know what I'm saying? If you were looking to get to work right away, but you knew you were not good at self-study, and that's nothing against anyone that's not good or inept at self-study because that's not a thing for a lot of people, and you don't want to try to self-teach yourself something when you know that's not your um, natural way of learning is from watching videos and tutorials and stuff. If you know you need to be around other people and have a live instructor to be able to ask questions to on the spot and all of that stuff, then I would definitely say do a boot camp, you know, and take it from there. Um, College, yes, you get that college experience. It's something you miss out of from a boot camp. You know, you don't have years of forming bonds and friendships that could last a lifetime. Um, or depending on where you go and what you go for, the partying or any of that type of stuff. But if you're looking at getting to work and making that cheese, that cheddar, then a boot camp could be right up your alley. You also have to have the money for a boot camp as well. So either, someone in your life that is financially capable of pulling that trigger for you, or, a lot of places seems like this place has different plans put together for people's different budgets. So, um, but once you get the money situation figured out, then have at it. The Morning Rain, what's up? Few questions I had. If you have the time, as a self-taught front-end developer, thinking about looking for that first job, do you think looking for a remote position is a good idea? I think looking for a remote position is a great idea. The only issue is uh, you probably won't find one. Um, reason being is that, and we've discussed this many occasions in prior live streams or videos. Reason being is that as a junior developer, um, you really rely on more senior developers to help groom you into being a really competent developer, right? So someone to ask questions to, um, and that has patience with you, um, and has your um, has your development as a developer in mind. And you don't get that when you work remote. You know, when you work remote, most remote places um, look for senior level developers for um, that can just get work done. Because they much more responsibility is placed on you as a remote developer because there's not a boss breathing over your shoulder. They are counting on you to get your work done without any help or input needed, or minimal help or input needed from any other developer, right? Because they're paying valuable dollars to their developers. Um, and that's usually the way it goes. So they skip over people that don't have the experience and the technologies that they need because they just don't have the infrastructure built up for a junior dev. Most places do not. The place I work at now, neither one of them have the infrastructure for a junior developer. The startup one does not have the bandwidth for a junior developer um, because we are so small staff or short staff. A developer could not take the time out to spend the time with the junior dev to get them up to speed to where they can actively contribute to the team in any you know beneficial way, shape, or form. And then the other place just doesn't do junior devs. Like everyone gets their work assignment and they go to work on it during the day, and there's minimal conversation about a person's individual work that they're working on. So so that's the thing. Ramsey said that's crazy. UC Berkeley has a web dev certification for 5K. Uh, 95% sure. Uh, God, I think that's going to do it for us today. Boom, finally caught one. Boom. Jump. And I think I answered all the questions there. Cool, cool. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody stopping in to hang out. If there's any last minute questions, I will put them in now. Otherwise, we are going to wrap this bad boy up. Again, let me put in the channels. Let's see. Oh, not that. All right. So this one is going to be for uh, Black Knight vehicles. Right? Boom. And then this one is going to be for Black Knight. Boom. There you go. So those are the two channels. Boom, boom. You'll see that one for the vehicles, and you'll see this one for the channels. There's not no content posted there, but there will be content posted to both very shortly. So so that is the deal there. Any any questions you have, feel free to post them in the Slack channel. If you see the description below, there is a link to join the Slack channel where we have a nice little community going there. People, they can share their projects that they're working on, get feedback on anything, ask any questions that they have, keep updated on job interviews that people are going on. They ask questions about things they should know for any job interviews or anything like that. So, it's just a free and open community to be able to stay connected and stay together. Uh, other than that, I think that's going to do it for me for today. Looks like we might have chose a place to go out to eat. This is perfect timing for everything. And I am going to talk to all of y'all later, my friends. You know how we end it. You can say it with me. Until next time, peace.